if you look at the nature of collaborative work, there's no specific snapshot that defines it. It's a very seamless experience about movement and being dynamic throughout the day. If you look at collaboration as being a dynamic experience, then you have to create a series of settings that actually support these dynamic experiences.
So in the research that we did, one of the first things that we saw was the desire to compress real estate. Real estate was shrinking. There were people without workstations, causing our clients and us to come up with new and creative ways to make whatever space was still available work harder and smarter.
And so you'd say, wow, that's a sort of an unsolvable problem, but we actually exploited that tension by being able to create highly effective, great small spaces that are about bringing people together. And that seems at first glance to be a paradox, but at the same time, we saw it as an advantage.
So what we're seeing with respect to collaboration is that it's not just happening in team spaces, it's not just happening in conference rooms, it's happening everywhere that workers are.
When we designed Seascape and Mediascape, we really saw this as this continuum between the I experience and the we experience. And as you moved into a small group collaborating around, say information, there's two different distinct dynamics. One is eyes to eyes and one is eyes to information. But it really kept human interaction and that human dynamic at the center of the design problem. One of the things that we wanted to do in this product was add this level of intuitive use and experience as really this idea of these little luxuries. Whether it's how people plug in their power and allowing their tools and technology to reside where they are. The Connect Zone and finding that in the desking system and finding that in the storage really came from this insight. Simple things like everybody has this kitchen drawer, and this kitchen drawer is really where people put things. Chinese, menus, old matches from restaurants. Our desks are the same way. And why shouldn't that be where I need that to be instead of some, archival place that's actually tucked off in the side? Why can't it be where I need it? Really, it's about putting the person in the middle of the problem and designing around that. One of the critical natures of the product is how it touches the ground. And it lightly touches the ground in the sense that it really can articulate sort of a very sort of collaged space. There's features and places to sit and perch and lean and talk that really encourage people to stay and collaborate. The notion of great small spaces, being effective, is really about being feature-rich, not about stripping away the virtue. We want people to discover months later that we thought of them in certain ways that sometimes you're not able to at first glance. And so we created this notion of affordances and little luxuries as a core theme for Seascape.
In most conference environments, a screen is placed on a wall, people sit at a table, and what ensues is this kind of tennis match. You look at someone speaking, you look at the information down here. Someone speaks again, and you look at the information here. Nothing is in close proximity where it's really easy to look at the speaker and look at the information, and just through glance, make it much more comfortable, which then keeps your focus and ultimately makes things much more productive. So the idea then became, how could we reposition the relationship between information to the people to maintain an eyes to eyes between person to person and eyes to information, which typically is a screen. It's like the flow of a conversation. I say something, you say something, someone else chimes in, and it just keeps moving around with a really smooth rate of speed, no interruption. That's seamlessness. The other part of seamlessness is I came to the table with a PC, you came to the table with a laptop, another colleague came with a BlackBerry, someone else has an iPod in their pocket. How could we host all of those in an agnostic way? No special instructions, the system is just smart enough and open enough to host all of these tools.
That the idea of intuitive, which we tried to embed into all of this stuff, actually really found its way into the idea of the experience and how you interface and interact with this. I think that's a key differentiator here.
The most profound technologies are those that disappear. They weave themselves into the fabric of everyday life. And what I love about that quote is that it's essentially saying don't try to celebrate this technology. Don't put it in front of people's face in a big way. And we really honored that. So when you come upon a Mediascape setting, before your laptops are on the table, before the pucks are retrieved from the media well, you just see a beautiful setting of furniture, shaped to host a small team. The only piece of technology that's exposed is an LCD screen, which is a commodity. We have them in our...
How ubiquitous is that? Right?
Absolutely.
One of the things about building tools or a collection for collaboration is that good design shouldn't be noticed. If people notice the things that we've done to foster collaboration, actually we've interrupted collaboration. It's the idea of extracting what's not essential. It should just be part of the design.